There's a question most people avoid asking themselves, and it's this. If you already know what to do, then why aren't you doing it? Because for most people, the problem isn't knowledge, and it's definitely not a lack of information. It's something altogether different. There's a pattern where people keep looking for the next answer, the next strategy, the next piece of information, as if that's going to be the thing that will finally unlock the action that they need to be taking. But if you really stop and think about it, you already know more than enough to move, right? You already know what needs to be done. So the question isn't, what should I do? The real question is, why haven't you done it? There's a gap between knowing and doing. And most people spend their time trying to close that gap with more knowledge, right? But knowledge doesn't close that gap. Action does, to get from one point to the next. And the longer that that gap stays open, the more uncomfortable it becomes to actually have to face it. So instead of acting, people go back to what feels safe, right? What feels good. They learn more. Because if I stay in learning, then I'm doing something. And if I plan more, then I'm doing something. And if they prepare more, then they're doing something that feels like progress. But it's actually not. It's the same loop repeated where more knowing creates more delay. Because here's the interesting fact, right? Knowing something doesn't require you to risk anything, right? But doing something does. Doing something makes it real. And when you do something, you can you can potentially fail, right? And when you do something, it can be seen. And that's where most people hesitate. Not because they don't know what to do, right? But because they haven't reached a point where not doing it feels worse. That point, that point right there is air hunger. And that's the moment where the gap actually closes. And it is not because you learn more, but because you stop tolerating the distance between knowing and doing. And there's a certain type of person. There's a certain type of person who begins to notice this pattern early. They stop searching for more answers. They stop waiting for more clarity. And they start acting. And they act on what they already know. Because at some point, more knowledge, it's it's just not the solution. More knowledge is delay, right? And once you see that, the questions all start to change. And this question here is what changes. The question is, it's no longer what do I need to learn? It becomes, huh, why am I not moving or acting on this? And the next thing to understand is why hesitation keeps showing up in the first place. So subscribe, because that's what we'll break down in the next video.